Well, one of the vice presidential contenders, Governor Doug Burgum of North Dakota, was on Meet the Press this morning, and Kristen Welker asked him if he would accept the election results, the 2024 election results. Here's what he said.
So let me ask you, Governor, can you say, as someone who is on the short list to be Trump's VP nominee, can you commit here and now today to accepting the election results?
Well, listen, these hypothetical questions that keep coming up imply that somehow that in every one of our 3,100 counties in America that everything is going to go perfectly.
You won't commit to accepting the election results, Governor?
I will commit to, if they're free and fair, of course.
Come on. Like, why can't he answer why can't he just answer the question? Zerlina, you go first.
Because then he wouldn't be on the short list for vice president. He has to equivocate. He has to add in these caveats. The only acceptable answer is yes, I will accept the results of the election, because black people voting and Latino people voting, those are legitimate votes. And that is the unspoken subtext when Republicans question the results of elections. Since 2020, Donald Trump has basically been saying the only reason why he lost in 2020 is because millions of illegal people voted. Now, people are not illegal. I'm not saying that. I'm quoting Donald Trump. But the point is that that's the subtext, and that's what they're not saying. So, again, it's a bunch of gaslighting, but another word for gaslighting is just lying.
Mm-hmm. You know, let me play another, for you, Rick, another VP contender, and that's Senator J.D. Vance. He was on Face the Nation, and he was asked whether a president, Margaret Brennan asked Senator Vance whether Donald Trump should pardon himself if he wins election. Watch this.
So you do believe that a president could pardon himself for federal crimes?
I believe that the president has broad pardon authority, Margaret, but more importantly, I think the president has immunity. It's not about whether he should pardon himself. It's about whether he be prosecuted in the first place for discharging his official duties.
Now, I'm no lawyer, but am I wrong? In order for you to get a pardon, don't you have to admit some kind of guilt?
Yes.
Okay.
You must accept guilt, accept responsibility, and admit guilt. And obviously, Donald Trump will never do that. Look, JD is another one of the contenders here. And, you know, he's been up and down in the standings lately. Burgum seems to be moving up because he's even more sycophantic to Trump than even J.D. Vance, which takes a lot of work, Jonathan. I mean, it takes a lot of effort. He's really putting in the time to be the king of Suck Up Mountain for Donald Trump right now.
I hear you chuckling, Zerlina. You have any words on that before we go to the next soundbite?
I don't have anything to add. I think that was well put. The only reason why they need a vice president is because Mike Pence is not available. He didn't retire. I just want to remind people that. Right.
It's a dangerous job being Trump's vice president.
Jonathan, if I could jump in for 30 seconds, I just want to say Doug Burgum, though, reminds me, he's like Mike Pence without the smoldering sensuality. You know, this is not an exciting guy.
It took me a while. I was like, wait, what? And I just want to point out that North Dakota is where my husband is from and where my in-laws live. So not laughing at North Dakota, but it is actually. Wait, okay. So speaking of vice presidents, here's what Lara Trump had to say on Fox News Sunday Morning Futures. That show with Maria Bartiromo. Listen to what she had to say about what a vote for President Biden would mean in 2024.
Most people would say if you vote for Joe Biden, you're actually voting for Kamala Harris because there's a low likelihood that Joe Biden gets through all 4 years.
Yeah, it's a bad situation all around for the Democrats because, look, in order for them to put someone else in to run, they have to get Joe Biden either to quit or they have to remove him, as you noted, via the 25th Amendment.
Zerlina, what? Just your reaction.
Okay, so what's wrong with Vice President Kamala Harris? I just want them to admit that why they don't like her. and then we can move on with a sane discussion. Because there's subtext in what they're saying. That would be a big problem for Democrats. But what they don't want to say is it would be a problem for Democrats to nominate a black woman. And why would it be a problem for Democrats to nominate a black woman? Because there are a lot of people in this country who do not like black women. But black women are the base of the Democratic Party. So I would say to Democrats, anybody considering replacing Joe Biden with somebody other than Kamala Harris might want to do some math, because they're not going to win an election without black women turning out in droves.
And Rick, more to the point, the most reliable voters in the United States are black women.
Look, I don't look at it as a subtext. I look at it as like 400-point Comic Sans type. They're really just out there saying the scary black lady could replace Joe Biden. Be afraid. And it is as outrageous as it is predictable, unfortunately. And for Laura Trump to go out there and trot this out, it is one of many, many, many dog whistles. I mean, we saw Trump during the debate talking about the black jobs. You know, which went over very well for him. I've noted with the African American community in the country so far. He's, you know, this is an unsubtle game that they're playing, and they're going to keep playing it because a certain part of their audience is convinced that she is the most dangerous person in America, and it's an absurdity, of course.
Right, because she's black. Rick Wilson and my fellow Rome buddy, Zerlina Maxwell, thank you both very much for coming to the Sunday Show.
Hey there, MSNBC fans. I'm Luke Russert, and be sure to join me, Rachel Maddow, Jen Psaki, Lawrence O'Donnell, Steve Kornacki, Joy Reid, and many more September 7th in Brooklyn, MSNBC Live Democracy 2024. Click on the link for ticket information. We will see you there.